II, a desperate time when humans found new and more terrible ways of killing each other. Out of this desperation came the Japanese suicide bomber known as the kamikaze. To the kamikaze, bomb and bomber were one and the same. They were willing to guide their planes into targets in the name of the emperor. They were told they'd become gods. Now, for the first time in all color, a look at the men who were willing to embrace death and the devastation and agony they caused. These are the kamikazes. In the final 10 months of World War II, the empire of the rising sun was in dire circumstances. As a last-ditch weapon, Japanese admirals and generals directed over 2,500 men to forfeit their lives as part of organized suicide missions. The world remembers them today collectively as kamikazes. The toll of the kamikazes was terrible. Scores of Allied ships were sunk or damaged beyond repair. Many more were damaged badly enough to take them out of the war. More than 7,000 Allied servicemen and women lost their lives due to the aerial suicide bombings from the advent of the Kamikaze Corps. Tens of thousands more were wounded, incredible suffering caused by just 2,500 kamikaze pilots. Incalculable damage to families on all sides of the war. Girls and boys who lost their fathers. Mothers whose sons would never come home. These kamikazes leave behind a bitter and tortured legacy. They sacrifice themselves for an ideal, but in vain. Their name means divine wind. They were to blow back the invaders. The wind was strong, but did not prevail. How far the empire had fallen, but the beginning of the downfall was a full 2 years before the introduction of the kamikazes. After the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor stunned the world, American forces had rallied to prepare a global assault on the aggressor. Japanese pilots had sunk the heart of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, but missed precious aircraft carriers that were out to sea during the attack. Those flat tops would form the core of a counterattack meant to level the playing field in the Pacific. April 18, 1942, just 5 months after Pearl Harbor, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle and his men take off from the aircraft carrier the USS Hornet. Hitting targets in Tokyo, the 16 B-25s bring the war directly to the Japanese mainland. While not causing any real damage to the Japanese military, Doolittle's raid does inflict a severe blow to their once unwavering confidence. The Japanese realize if they do not soon destroy the remaining U.S. carriers and secure a larger defensive perimeter, more bombing raids on the imperial city would come. Under the command of Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, a plan is devised to attack and capture the island base of Midway. 1,000 miles from Hawaii, Midway was a vital sentry point for the Americans stationed at Pearl Harbor. If the Japanese could take Midway, Pearl Harbor would soon be next, and ultimately the coast of California. Yamamoto reasoned that an attack at Midway would draw out the remaining American fleet to defend it. With Japan's naval superiority, he felt assured not only of victory, but of once and for all administering a knockout blow that will eliminate the U.S. as a threat in the Pacific. The attack plan had all the earmarks of success. However, it would lack the one crucial advantage the Japanese had at Pearl Harbor: surprise. Unbeknownst to the Japanese, by early 1942, the Americans had broken most of their communication codes. In the spring of that year, intercepted Japanese transmissions were referring to a pending operation in which the target was codenamed AF. The only question for the Americans: what did AF stand for? Naval intelligence determined the most logical designation for AF must be Midway, but how to be sure? May 1942. Admiral Chester W. Nimitz orders Midway to send out urgent messages indicating that the island